What's up, YouTube? Chris is so pro here. I don't know if I said something twice in this, so just bear with me. My screen recording's really weird. But I'm here to talk to you today about my personal opinions about the ban list. No bias, no nothing. These are just my personal opinions of why Konami would do that, or why it needed to happen, and why it shouldn't have happened. Ban, first of all, Future Fusion. Future Fusion was busted. It was like a selective, painful choice. It's like, oh yeah, I've got this five-headed dragon in my extra deck, and I need all these cards in my graveyard, which just happen to be able to be sent by Future Fusion. It was banned for the same reason that Painful Choice was banned, because it fills up the graveyard with cards that you don't need in your hand, you just need them in the graveyard. And also, there's like a bunch of OTKs that can be based off of Future Fusion. Future Fusion just lets you spam the field with a bunch of monsters, and that's totally not fair for the game right now. Baryonyx got banned because, one, Baryonyx has always been a debated card, and it has been a little unfair in certain situations. Like, oh, I've got a full hand and you don't. I've been pressing you down. Oh, you've got your answer? I've got Baryonyx, so I'm just going to bounce back your cards that could be used to stop attacks. And also, I feel like they did it because of something later on the list, which is Kalute to 2. Because honestly, Blackwings would be busted with 2 Kalute and Baryonyx. They do one thing to hurt Blackwings and do something else to help them out. Because, you know, what the hell are you going to do with Blizzard now besides going to level 5s and mediocre level 6s? Limited, Hornet, and Dragonfly. These 2 cards were so good in Inzectors. Do I even need to talk about them? Dragonfly special summons more. Hornet is the popper card. To be honest, though, I honestly think the deck could have been hit a little easier if they had just limited the Centipede instead of the Dragonfly. But hey, either one works, and they work just as well together. Gishki Kraken, I'm not too sure how the hand loop works, but I'm pretty sure it's like really broken. Don't mind all the misspellings. I actually copied and pasted this straight from MCall40's description video because I couldn't find anywhere else to just copy and paste it from into Word, so yeah, don't mind all the misspellings. But Konami really doesn't like those hand loops anymore, and neither do their players, so I guess it just needed to get limited. Next is Chaos Sorcerer. Goes on the thing with Chaos Dragons. I mean, it's just an easy, free summon that you could banish a card. I mean, it gets rid of the Zen mains, it gets rid of a bunch of stuff. Card's really good, and it's got 2300 attack to beat over stuff. It's a really free special summon with a great effect. Plus, you can use that effect and then go into, like, Arcanite Magician with your tuners, or you can go into Photon Strike Bouncer with your other level 6s, like your Light Pulsar Dragons, or your Monarchs, or whatever you're going to use it with. And, sorry. Ultimate Offering, obvious, Chaos Dragon, or Chaos Dragons. Yeah, everything's on this list is because of Chaos Dragons. No, it's because of gadgets, and also you could say it's because of the Madolche cards. I mean, I've been playing against those a bit on Dueling Network lately, and I've been seeing, oh, summon the Madolche card that lets me search another one, and then there's the guy that lets you add your field spell to hand. Then you just, like, summon him and get your field spell. But also the one that summons and allows you to search a card for a Madolche card says any Madolche monster, so you could search another one of her. It's like Stratos. Honestly, if Madolche starts seeing some competitive play and actually get really good, I could see it getting limited to 1 on the next list. Next one is Spore. Spore wasn't the broken tuner. Spore was never the broken tuner. I mean, it allows for a really, really cool first get out my librarian and Formula Synchron in the same turn play, but you know, it's not like with Glow Up Bulb now where you could go for the librarian first and then go for the I can't remember these cards. This is how bad they are now. Or not bad, but this is how long they haven't been around. The Formula Synchron. There we go. So, Spore's just not as broken anymore. Zen Mighty. Thank God Zen Mighty got limited. That's the only card that helped them keep with the loop. I've been seeing wind-up players try to play with the new list, and they just haven't been doing as well. I mean, the deck still works, but come on. How are you supposed to loop with Zen Mighty? Tsukiyomi. This is that one card that comes off the list every year that everybody's going to try to splash into every single deck. And I think for the first time, this is where Konami is going to say, this is the one card we can safely bring off. Everyone's going to try to spam in every single deck, and it's not going to work. I mean, the only plays I've seen really amazing with Tsukiyomi so far are monsters that activate when they're summoned in any way. That doesn't include Stratos. I'm talking about, like, Armageddon Knight in a Teledad deck, or Destiny Hero Plasma, or the monsters that get summoned, and then monsters like Destiny Hero Plasma where they can only activate once per turn. So you've got the Destiny Hero Plasma on the board, suck up one of their monsters, and it's like, oh, I can't take another monster now. Next turn, or that turn, if you haven't set Plasma's position by summoning it or attacking, you just go Tsukiyomi, flip Plasma face down, flip Plasma back face up, steal a monster, and then do your attacking, just like they used to do back in Thousand Eyes Restrict format and Go Control format. And also, it works like that with Blackluster Soldier and Chaos Sorcerer, where you can activate their effect, flip it face up, and attack. Activate the Blackluster effect, Tsukiyomi it face down, flip it face up, and then attack, or activate the effect again. And Red Eyes Darkness Metal, I mean, come on. This really just needed to happen. Y'all have to admit this needed to happen. It's broken in Chaos Dragons, even without the new list, even without Future Fusion getting banned, I'm pretty sure, even with Future Fusion getting banned, I'm pretty sure that more than one Red Eyes Darkness Metal would have just helped, there would have been something in somewhere or another to help the deck out. Plus, in Heretics, it just makes more monster spam, and you can go for Gustav Max with it after the monster spam, so you do so much damage in one turn just because of one card. That's why they needed to limit this card to one. It's still good. I mean, it could still get your monster summons, but now you can't unfairly Gustav Max or use multiple in one turn. Semi-limit. Tour Guide. This mindfucked me. This literally just mindfucked me. It's like, what other fiend am I supposed to run? I mean, Tour Bus is mediocre to me. It's good in some decks, but it's not an amazing card. But, like, you can't run 2 Tour Guides in one Sengen. You have to put in another fiend now, because, you know, it's like, well, do I run a mediocre fiend, or do I just make one of my Tour Guides dead? That's where Tour Guide going to 2 kind of mindfucked me at first. I mean, I've come up with solutions to it already. I'll talk about that in some other video. But Tour Guide to 2, it just makes it also so you can't draw it firsthand. Mirror Force. I think this was Konami's answer to us complaining about too much spell and trap destruction. What now with 3 MST, a possibility of 3 Night Beam, a possibility of 3 Dust Tornado, and Heavy Storm. It's just there's so much spell and trap destruction. I think instead of wanting to tackle that, because a lot of spell and trap destruction is good, especially since there's a lot of spells and traps, and if you don't draw stuff to stop those spells and traps, your opponent just completely dominates you. I think instead of doing that, I think they wanted to give us more spells and traps to have more options against your opponent's plethora of spell and trap destruction. And honestly, you know what? I'll talk about that in another video, what I was just about to say. So keep an eye out for that. The Heretic Seal. Why on earth would they limit this card to 2 instead of 1? I mean, I understand without Red Eyes the deck isn't as powerful, but it's still a really big spam deck. It's like, tribute, 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 spam, 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 pew, 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 pew. It's like, yeah, it's kind of dumb. I mean, Heretic Seal should have been limited to 1, in my opinion, because it's like a Rhoda. Same thing, I'll skip down to Emergency Call. Same thing goes for E Emergency Call. Why in the hell was this card only limited to 2? It's like they still have 3 search cards for every single one of their cards. This isn't like Smoke Signal, where it's limited to their level 3 or lower monsters and 6 hams, even though I do think Smoke Signal still should be limited to 1. It's like, oh, hey, I'm guaranteed to get Stratos first turn every time because I'm a hero player. Almost every time. Not every time. You could open up really bad. But basically, hero players can open up with almost everything they need. I mean, they still have 3 Miracle Fusions. They still have the 3 aliases for everything. I mean, and they still have 1 Stratos, which is like, okay, Stratos, Double Decall, and Rhoda. That's already 1/10 of the deck that could make sure that you get your Stratos first turn, whether or not it gets Veilered. Earth. Earth is one of those few cards that I could say that is like Stratos that does not need to get limited, because there aren't a lot of broken cards that can be searched with Earth, unless you have that Sanctuary in the Sky on the board to get your Master Hyperion to hand with it. Which, you know, that's just too many cards to run, and that build with Sanctuary in the Sky, despite how many videos I made on it back in the day, is really bad. They were fun videos to make, and there was a fun deck to run, but the deck was bad and just couldn't keep up with the format. This gives agents a running chance of getting all the stuff that they need to their hand faster, but not so fast as to where it's just like summon, 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 spam, spam, spam. The only way you can do that is if you set up first, instead of doing it right away like you could with Inzectors or Windups. You actually needed more than 2 cards to set up a play that could get you either in a good place or get you the game. Hell, it's really hard to just get you the game right away with that deck. Reasoning. Reasoning hasn't seen a lot of play, and honestly, I think Konami is trying to push the old Destiny Hero formats back up. What with Reasoning was a big part of Diamond Dude Diamond Dude Turbo, DDT as we like to call it. Reasoning, since it hasn't seen a lot of play, I think they brought it back up to 2 for that reason, and there's not a lot of reason for it to be at 1 anymore, just because of everything else. It could be so much faster than it, and such. The only decks I remember it being run in back in the day, of course, were DDT and old 6 Samurai, which, you know, this card benefits Samurai in no way, shape, or form now, because they have so many different levels of monsters, true, but all of their monsters don't have the special effects that were useful back in the day. Like, I remember Yaichi, the face-down Speller Trap Popper, was a good card, and Kaman was a good card to run because you had a lot of stuff that it could get over. Reasoning to 2 doesn't help the Samurai deck at all anymore because of the builds, and DDT is still pretty dead because we don't have a lot of the cards that made it useful, i.e. Dimension Fusion, Triple Allure of Darkness, stuff like that. Rescue Rabbit, you know, in my opinion, this card should have still got limited to 1. I still think that Rescue Rabbit is going to be a very viable deck next format, especially with Mirror Force going to 2 for more protection. It's just, the deck is very, very powerful and very, very consistent still. I mean, they didn't use draw cards, they just had, oh, protection, protection, protection. Oh, finally drew a rabbit. There we go. Oh, what, you have something for my rabbit? I have an answer to something that you... I have an answer to your answer for my rabbit. It makes it less likely so that you draw it first turn, but the deck is still very, very good. And without 3 rabbit and without 3 tour guide, I actually think it's a deck that I would not mind playing against next format. Or with, hint, hint. Hero Lives. This is another one of those cards that I think should have gotten limited to 1, just because of how broken the deck it runs in is. That Diamond Dude, or, I'm sorry, Bubble Man deck. It's like, oh, I have a Hero Lives, so I'm going to go Stratos, and I'm going to get my Bubble Man, or my Alias, or whatever I need to use to go off, and just go Herp Derp Derp, Blade Armor Ninja, Miracle Fusion, all that. Duality to 2. I mean, I think that's pretty good. I like Duality at 2. It's not as easy to draw at 3. I never really ran 3, but there are decks, of course, that can do it. Makes it so that you can't get it and just start looking at the top cards of your deck right away anymore. Kalute, talked about that earlier. Kalute is pretty much a way for Blackwings to actually still be as viable as they were, which wasn't that much, with Brianna getting banned, now that Blizzard goes for almost absolutely no good cards. And Debris Dragon, I honestly think Konami is trying to make up for the fact that they neutered Synchros completely last format. And so they're bringing Debris Dragon back up to 2, give us more Synchro opportunities. We're going to be seeing a lot more Black Rosing this format if Debris becomes a viable card, and all that. Unlimited, Teleport. Teleport and D-Draw I will talk on the same one for Teledad, but first, we'll skip over Teleport and go to Marshmallow. Marshmallow hasn't been seeing a lot of play lately because there's a lot of decks that just don't do attacking. That's why Konami is putting it at 3, in my opinion. They're putting it at 3 because not a lot of cards attack anymore. A lot of cards can destroy face-down cards, and Marshmallow isn't an extreme problem in the game. Necro Gardna. I still don't know what Konami's thinking. They do something stupid every year to make a bad deck slightly better, which is Lightsworn. Lightsworn's bad. Lightsworn is completely inconsistent. I'm lying. Lightsworn is amazing. I don't see why Konami keeps helping it. Everyone says the Lightsworn's bad. It's just because there's enough answers for it. But if Lightsworn gets the right hand, it's like, oh, Herp Derp, recharge, charge of the Light Brigade, Lumina, mill. You're milling everywhere. Putting 3 Necro Gardens into the graveyard makes it so that milling is a good thing, and you can do bad plays and protect yourself from losing, and then just drop Judgment Dragon at the right time and win. I don't know why Konami would put this card at 3, but, you know, I guess it's just because they want to promote Lightsworn. I honestly see in the future them releasing some kind of TCG exclusive product that's like, oh, the Lightsworn Special Edition, we make this Lightsworn card holographic, and we give you booster packs to come with Lightsworn cards, just like they did when they were dick riding Samurais. D-Draw, back to the Diamond Dude thing, back to the Destiny Hero thing, bringing D-Draw back to 3 kind of makes decks more viable that run Destiny Hero engines. And Emergency Teleport to 3, and with D-Draw to 3, kind of promotes Teledad a little more, which I've tried running the Teledad deck. I've tried a bunch of different builds already with this list, and the deck is still awful with Dark Armed and Allure at 1. But, you know, it's a good choice on Konami's part. They keep the right cards limited, and they unlimit the correct cards to unlimit, so I'm sorry, my allergies are really bad, so I'm all stuffed up and stuff. Magic Cylinder, also a card that hasn't been seeing a lot of play because a lot of cards can pop cards before attacks are made. I honestly think that more people should run this card because of all the life point paying. There's agents that pay for Venus and Shine Balls. There's heroes that pay for Hero Lives, and all that. Magic Cylinder just seems like such a good card. Not to mention that there's also double Solemn Warning and Solemn Judgment in almost every deck now. Swords of Revealing Light. I have no idea why Robbie Cole wrote Revealing Sword, but once again, another card that has to stay on the field for its effect to work. And Level Limit Area B, 1, a card that needs to stay on the field for its effect to work, and 2, it is a card that does not hit a lot of monsters in the format anymore because of Xyz monsters and the fact that they have ranks and not levels, so they get over the whole Level Limit Area B clause. And Level Limit Area B is also a really good side deck card against a lot of decks that would destroy, or that would, destroy you with big, beefy monsters like Chaos Dragons and Light Sworn, stuff like that. Plus, if you use Level Limit Area B against Delilah, it just becomes useless. I find that really I find that really funny. But that's my take on this ban list, everybody. Keep an eye out for my next video, which I'm actually going to be doing a video on what cards I think will change in price because of this ban list. And that's about it. Rate, comment, subscribe, and peace out.